Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome along to Patrick Christys Tonight, late edition.
Why on earth should people pay their council tax if they don't get the chance to vote for people that implement policies?
Big story in tomorrow's Sun newspaper revealing that 4 mayoral elections are now going to be delayed by 2 years. What are Labour so scared of? Plus,
I'm announcing this government will make a new free-of-charge digital ID mandatory.
Right, great. So we've had digital ID that's going to be mandatory, and now, get this, police are set to expand facial recognition in every city, every town, every village in the whole country. Did you consent to this? Very much a case of Big Brother is watching you. This could go terribly wrong, and...
They're sending a simple message to the world. If you build here, Britain will back you.
Well, this has made the front of another national newspaper, the Daily Express, actually. High streets apparently are now under attack. They'll just be full of facial recognition cameras, won't they? But Kemi Badenoch claims the Prime Minister and the Chancellor are on a mission to crush that high street. Also,
it's about finding time to connect with the people we love.
Yeah.
Embracing traditions.
I like this.
There we go.
And making new ones.
it's a world exclusive on the front of the Daily Mail. Nothing beats family, does it, Meghan? Well, sadly, Thomas Markle, estranged from his daughter, is currently fighting for his life in intensive care in the Philippines. And I'll give you a first look tour inside Jeffrey Epstein's island, dubbed Pedo Island. US officials have now released the first pictures and a bit of video as well from the island. There's some very, very sinister stuff. I mean, that's sinister, isn't it? Look at it. Just random people's face masks above a dentist chair on an island. Weird, isn't it? Anyway, all that and more. Joining me this evening is journalist and broadcaster Nina Mishkov. We've also got the director of the Popular Conservatives, Mark Littlewood, and we've got businessman and comedian Simon Evans. So I nearly started, businessman and comedian.
Yes, absolutely. We've obviously been steered into that by...
You like you just come from business.
Yes.
Just entertaining a cricket lunch.
Good, lovely, OK. Anyway, before all of whatever this is going to be, we have got your news with Tatiana.
Patrick, thank you. The top story. Some breaking news this hour. It's understood that 4 mayoral elections that were due to take place in May next year are set to be postponed by 2 years. 4 new combined authorities, Essex, Hampshire and the Solent, Sussex and Brighton and Norfolk and Suffolk, will have their polls pushed back until 2028. The decision, first revealed by The Sun, is due to be announced by ministers tomorrow. Elsewhere, King Charles has hosted the German president and his wife at a glittering Christmassy state banquet at Windsor Castle this evening. Speaking German during the speech, King Charles paid tribute to the special friendship between Germany and Britain.
The bedrock of our relationship has not only been in ideas, but also in trade. Merchants and craftsmen from Dortmund and Cologne, who in 1380 operated the Guildhall of the Germans in London, which then dominated trade between our nations, and indeed across Europe, for over 200 years.
A fiery first Prime Minister's question since the budget, with Sir Keir Starmer and Kemi Badenoch clashing over claims the government has lurched into total shambles. The exchanges opened with the Conservative leader questioning who inside Labour's cabinet is briefing against the government, and claimed a CEO with Rachel Reeves's record would have been fired.
We now know that the head of the OBR was forced out for telling the truth, that the Chancellor did not need to raise taxes on working people. We also know that the Chancellor was briefing the media, twisting the facts, also she could break her promises and raise taxes.
Sir Keir Starmer told MPs his government is fixing the mess the Conservatives left.
She's completely losing the plot. She says take responsibility. Under this Chancellor, Mr. Speaker, growth is up this year, defeating and beating the forecast. Wages are up, more since the general election than in 10 years of the Tories. We've had, I think, 5 interest rate cuts, NHS waiting lists are down, we've had record investment into this country. We're turning the page on their austerity and reckless experiment on borrowing. I'd compare that record to them every day of the week.
And new images of Jeffrey Epstein's Caribbean island home have been released by Democrats in the US Congress. The pictures and videos show bedrooms, a room with a dentist chair and masks hanging from a wall, and the words power and deception written on a chalkboard. One photo shows a no trespassing sign. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee said on X that they were a harrowing look behind Epstein's closed doors. Those are the latest headlines. For now, it's over to Patrick.
For all the latest from GB News whilst you're on the go, get the GB News app. Scan the QR code now to download or visit gbnews.com/app.
Welcome along to Late Edition. Really is a really varied and ridiculous set of front pages for you, actually. The Daily Telegraph, police in a plan for facial ID in every town. It's not actually just every town, it turns out it's every village as well. And there's much more to this than meets the eyes. It's even more sinister than it seems at face value. They're going to link up with your passport picture. This is on top of digital ID. We'll get stuck right into that. The iPaper, Russian spies secretly entering the UK on cargo ships. So that's great. Small boats crisis, much larger boats crisis. The Independent, number 10, derides Putin's war threat as NATO warns he will feel it if Russia targets allies. And also NHS staff have been exposed to the new asbestos. The Metro, Formula Win. PM announces Metro Milk campaign victory. That is, of course, about formula milk, in case you hadn't quite clocked that yet. The Guardian, bullying culture harmed patient safety. A scandal hit NHS hospital. The Sun, sup for the cup. But there's actually a much bigger story in this one, if we hold that on the screens for a moment. It's not on their front page. It's a breaking story which we're going to talk about, which is the delaying of several more elections. This time it's mayoral elections being delayed by 2 years in 4 locations. Most notably, I would suggest the ones around Essex, which were pretty much guaranteed to have gone reform. The Labour Party accused yet again of of delaying democracy, basically. The Mail, Meghan's father is fighting for his life. This is Meghan Markle's dad. He's 81 years old. He's undergone, one part of a two-stage life-threatening surgery in the Philippines where he lives to remove a blood clot, but apparently the threat to his life is imminent, and that is according to his son as well. So very serious stuff there. The Daily Express, Starmer's mission to crush our high streets. I'll give you the detail on that. The Times, Wes Streeting, the Health Secretary, has ordered a review into basically why so many people are being diagnosed with ADHD. So he wants to bring that down. I can't help but wonder if that might be linked to things like benefits or people who are getting signed off work as well. Lots of people being diagnosed with ADHD. I would say this, and I say this with sympathy, many people tell me on a nightly basis that it's pretty obvious I have ADHD. I'm yet to get an official diagnosis. But what I will say is I think there are a suspicious number of people who have got ADHD, and we appear to be paying them quite a lot of money for it. The Mirror, inside Epstein's island lair. It's Pedo Island. I'm going to give you a guided tour around Pedo Island later. Don't say I don't treat you. But we'll get stuck straight into it with my panel. The Daily Telegraph, I think this is a very, very, very serious story that could go catastrophically wrong and is a huge invasion of our civil liberties. This is the police's plan for facial ID in every single town. Cameras would scour the entire passport photo database. Police will be given access to Britain's passport database. It's going to be in every town, city, village. Mark, I know you've been having a look at some more of the detail on this. How sinister is it?
Oh, this is incredibly sinister, and it is casting the net way, way, way too wide. There are already a lot of concerns about the efficacy and fairness of this facial ID technology. But to wire it into the passport database, I mean, this is something else. You could imagine, for example, I don't know, that there are 8 or 10 fugitives, most likely people we've wrongly released from prison, who we're trying to track. And you might want then to say, right, we're looking for this particular person in this area. But to put on the entire passport database essentially treats every British citizen as a suspect. Completely, utterly unacceptable. Massive overreach. You know, we've got to get a lot more focused on crime. And too often, politicians and the police want to cast the net incredibly wide rather than focusing on the wrongers.
Well,
you know, there's a few tens of thousands of people who are responsible for nearly all crime in Britain. Focus on them. Don't get a stick with the entire passport database into it and plug it into your computer.
Today we applied for a baby passport for George. So, assuming he gets that, will his face now be on this system? Like, is he going to be tracked on facial recognition when he's in a pram? Yeah, when he's in a pram and we're like on our way to the shops, going, oh, that's George. There he is. Look,
doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah, what's he doing? He's chewing his own hand again. Nick him, you know. But yeah, look, this was a conspiracy theory. Yet again, here we are. This was the idea of facial recognition cameras in every town and village was a dangerous conspiracy theory, Simon, and now here we are.
Well, the cameras have been up for a long time, haven't they? But I suppose that was the thing that you could say, oh, it's fine because they don't have access to the records, you know. They do things cleverly in the wrong order so that you don't get a sniff of it until it's fait accompli. I mean, I would imagine that's a fairly well-established rule book or playbook or whatever you want to call it. I'm still slightly distracted by the thought of how they're going to get George's face on there because it's going to be flat in the pram. They'll probably have people with little head-mounted cameras.
Yeah.
Go, ooh, isn't he a cute one?
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, it is. I mean, it's no laughing matter, and you're exactly right, of course. We know about Pareto's principle and the ratio and the number of people who are responsible for most of the crime, and you can take them out. And we also know, we see daily really horrific examples, I think arguably even more blatantly dystopian, of the kind of people that the police already waste their resources on. They're not short of knowing who the shoplifters are. They're very often spending 2 or 3 minutes just loading up holdalls in the Co-op or the Boots or whatever. They've got plenty of people on camera doing that. They won't go and arrest them. They won't follow it up if you know where your nicked bike is. You might have some sort of chip on it that tells you police won't bother going and find it. They'd rather send literally a dozen officers round to somebody who sent a disobliging post on Facebook. I mean, so I think this is the combination that you're worried about. If it was possible to use this record, the database, the cameras and everything, to eliminate all serious property crimes, crimes of violence, rape and murder, well, I think we'd probably consider that we would weigh it in the balance. But we know that that's not where the state is at.
But I'm not... imagine you're a mastermind criminal and you wanted to get around this. Strikes me, wear a baseball cap and a mask.
Yeah.
System doesn't work.
You know, but then so many people are so paranoid, and they've got all this doorbell
CCTV stuff. And so, but everybody's putting so much into the visualisation. We're all putting so much onto, well, I'm not, social media. Our images are there, and 9 police forces already use this. You know, so this, but this,
police force?
9 police forces.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently. But I mean, this is surely the way that it's going to go, because they'll say, how else can you?
I just wonder if it's a matter of principle, though. See, this is the thing. You know, we all know, don't we, that ultimately we're probably caught on CCTV like however many 100 times a day, going about your business. You're right. If you walk past someone's Ring doorbell, that's one of the ways that they actually managed to get Wayne Couzens, of course, the depraved killer of Sarah Everard. I think they caught him on a Ring doorbell and they caught him on a dash cam, right? So we all know that if the police really want to, they can try and get hold of this stuff. But now it does seem, you know, like it's just going to be available, facial recognition technology, wherever you go, at any time, even in, like, a remote rural village in Cumbria. It just feels a bit much, doesn't it?
It does, but I'm sorry, but that is the way it's going. It's like saying the way that the internet changed our lives. You know, there are all sorts of things. If we could go back to the beginning and say, well, we didn't want this to happen, but it did, and it has. How can you stop it?
Well, I'm with Simon on this. This is using a sledgehammer to fail to crack a nut, basically. I mean, we're going to open the floodgates to being able, the state being able to track the public movements of every single civilian. That, in my view, is incredibly dangerous. I mean, I'm sure, generally speaking, the police and the state will want to use it to actually catch crooks, but you could use it for political purposes. You could track exactly where everybody is at any time.
But they can do that already.
I say as well, psychologically, I have a tiny bit of experience with this. We have an app, and I expect you know the sort of thing we're talking about on the iPhone for the family. You know, my wife and I are on there, our daughter's on there, so we can see she's got home safe. My son, who's 18, has taken himself off it.
Really?
Because he felt monitored, you know, and we're right. But it's weird how you get into it. You think, is Kate... oh, no, she's off. Where's she gone to? Oh, she's sitting in Gale's Bakery. That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, but there's also...
She's suddenly going to be voting Lib Dem.
Yeah. But there's just this thing, once you get the ability to map people and track them, I found myself feeling slightly irritable that I don't have other people outside of the family. I'm trying to work out where they are, and it would just be useful for me to know. Do you know what I mean? And before you know it, you start to take this stuff for granted. The police will be absolutely prone to that. I guarantee it. They will start to assume it is their right to be able to identify anyone anywhere, regardless of whether they've committed an offence or even been in proximity to one.
Talking of dictatorships, OK, there is a story that is inside tomorrow's Sun newspaper. It's also now breaking online. For example, the I newspaper, or the Independent, I should say, sorry, have just put this online. Another big story. The headline on the Independent is Labour expected to postpone mayoral elections by 2 years amid continued reform poll lead. So, I mean, even the left-wing Independent newspaper now is linking this postponement of elections, postponement of democracy, a delay to democracy, to the fact that we have a Labour government but potentially a Reform government in waiting. There's briefing notes from officials suggesting that mayoral elections will be postponed until 2028. These are going to be in places like Cumbria, Cheshire and Warrington, Norfolk and Suffolk, Greater Essex, Sussex and Brighton, and Hampshire and the Solent. Now, I don't claim to have all of the polling data to all of those places to hand, but I can identify at least 3 of those areas where I think it's likely that Reform will win. And so Labour delaying this, Mark, is this a good or bad thing?
Oh, this is quite outrageous. I mean, I did think last year just about willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. The argument went that we're going to restructure and reorganise local government, and we wouldn't want to waste money on an election to a council which within weeks or months might be abolished. What a fiasco. So we're going to reset how local government operates and then hold the elections. They should have done it by now. And the idea that this is being kicked back 2 years, I haven't checked all of the electoral statistics in those regions, Patrick, but you're broadly right. In those mayoralties, you'd expect the Reform Party to do spectacularly well, probably win a majority of those mayoralties. So why has this been kicked into the long grass for 2 years? You should easily have been able to settle on what your local government structure is within a few months of taking office. So I was willing, probably wrongly, to give them a free pass for some of the delays they did in May this year, but this is unconscionable and I'm afraid looks extremely fishy.
Nina, it's also worth noting that actually in some of these areas, like apparently Essex and Norfolk and Suffolk, the Conservatives have also been appealing for a delay amid fears of a wipeout to reform. So it's not just Labour.
No, it's not, and I think they're kind of just reacting hysterically to the reform threat, as it were. You know, it doesn't seem constitutional to me to delay it that much. I mean, I can't defend that in any way because, you know, as Mark said, you give them a year and fine, sort it out, and because otherwise they're going to too much problems if they, you know, if they're redrawing the boundaries or whatever. But that to me is too much, and it shows just lack of courage, I think.
Yeah, we'll go on.
Well, I was listening to the names of the various regions, and I think mine came up there. Was it Brighton? Did you say it was one of them?
Yeah.
I can't imagine reform surging in Brighton at the moment. There's probably a toss-up between the Sultana and the Greens, but
it's Brighton and Sussex, I think. So in wider Sussex, the reform and the Conservatives are stronger than in Brighton.
Maybe it is then, yeah. I don't really know how what that region works for in mayoral terms, but I echo my learned colleagues.
It is, again, I just try to imagine this. You know, if we had a reform government and Reform were doing this, Labour would be screaming about dictatorship, fascism,
well,
dictatorship.
There's a large number of policy initiatives, including the surveillance cameras, which have struck me in that way, that a Labour government is not getting sufficiently scrutinised.
And here's the worry I had, because I am a gambling man. I do put lots of bets on lots of preposterous things. So just yesterday, I looked up the odds for when the next general election will be.
OK.
Next year. So 2026, you can bet on, that's about 6 to 1. 2027, about 5 to 1. 2028, I think, was about 3 to 1. 2029 or later evens. How can it be later than 2029? So the bookmakers are even speculating that the election might be in 2030 or later.
Well, how could that work?
Then?
Well, I mean,
your winnings will mean nothing. Can you imagine? Yeah, well, I've just won $1,000 at the bookies, but we are in the middle of a nuclear war.
No, still...
Every cloud.
Seriously, you have to say, why are we having a state banquet and a state visit by the Germans? I mean, if you listen to what Chancellor Merz said yesterday, or the day before, a real sabre-rattling thing against Russia, and say, you know, you're not going to win, you know, let's have you, sort of thing. And
which is very easy for him to say when he'll then cower away. I mean, when it all kicked off, this is what they did when it started. Putin rolled the tanks into Ukraine, and the Germans sent them about 12,000 rainbow-coloured helmets, didn't they? Whereas we sent them actual hardware. It's all very well and good the Germans being like, oh, come on, Vlad, if you want it, you think you're hard enough, and then they're just going to hide behind us.
Yes, but the reason we haven't had a state visit for Germany this century. So you have to say this is sending a sign to Putin.
We're going to delay the elections.
No, I get what you mean.
What you have, President. That for us.
And I really want to know how your bins are going out. You know.
Well, look, there's still loads more to get stuck into. I mean, the front of the Daily Mail is a biggie, actually. It relates to this.
It's about finding time to connect with the people we love.
Yeah.
Embracing traditions.
I like this.
There we go.
And making new ones.
Yeah, well, apparently Meghan Markle's father is sadly fighting for his life. He's 81, he's in intensive care, he's in the Philippines. His son has written, it's a world exclusive on the front of the Daily Mail, so we'll get you the detail for that. I've also got a story for you as well about Epstein Island. They've actually released now footage of it, so we're going to play you that footage. So, yeah, all that and more.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk
No,
now?
that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I ever got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
GB News Breakfast. Every day from 6 a.m.
Yeah, just have a look at Tom Stoppard.
Yeah, this is terribly sad. It is the end of a kind of literary era. 6 decades-long career that Sir Tom had. My parents hung out with him in the 60s and 70s. They have. My mum has wonderful stories. Gorgeous man, but also a real flirt in a lovely way, in a gentlemanly way. And Mum was telling me last night about a very gorgeous little pink suit that she was wearing that he appreciated, let us say, very much. And what a lovely man who's died at the age of 88. But yeah, I mean, not only a playwright, but also a screenwriter. He wrote the screenplay for Shakespeare in Love, which is something that...
what he won the Oscar for?
Yes, he won a Golden Globe and an Academy Award, and so many other kind of literary accolades in his career. He was really proud of his Czech heritage, wasn't he? And found out lots and lots about his Jewish roots, but also very British as well. I think he balanced that.
Basically, he became the master of the second language.
Yeah.
Because he didn't speak English until he came to Britain.
At around, I think he was age 9, so it's quite late to...
So he became an absolute master of English, which wasn't his native, his real language.
And people say, you know, what should you see? What should you read? Because I think you should read Tom Stoppard as well as seeing him on the stage. And there's Travesties, and there's Jumpers, and there's Arcadia. I would recommend Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Dead, which is so clever. And what you're saying about language there and words, that was the genius, really, of Tom Stoppard. There's one quote I wanted to read you. Be happy. If you're not even happy, what's so good about surviving? And he's so good about life and about mortality and about the fact that life is going in one direction for all of us. Same direction. Time is the only measure. He's brilliant on that. And he's kind of very intellectual, but also really accessible.
GB News, the People's Channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
OK, welcome back to Late Edition. Let's deal immediately with what's the world exclusive that's on the front of the Daily Mail. And that is Meghan's father fighting for life. So, Thomas Markle, who's 81, is in intensive care in the Philippines. This is all according to his son. Apparently, he went in relation to a blood clot. He had one 3-hour operation. He now faces a second procedure. His son, Thomas Jr., has told the Daily Mail, I took Dad to a hospital close to our home. They did various scans, and the doctors said his life was in imminent danger. They raced us there by ambulance. So, look, obviously, incredibly sad news. This, we wish him, speedy recovery, hopefully. I suppose it does raise questions again, doesn't it? Especially in the run to Christmas of Meghan Markle's relationship with her father. Apparently, they've been estranged since 2018, since her marriage to Prince Harry. Simon, is this something that you...
Oh, I follow this avidly. Obviously, this is a huge hiccup. Now, I am mildly intrigued by Meghan's existence. She makes a series of TV programmes which get uniformly panned, and she gamely gets back up and has another crack at it again. She clearly lives in something approaching a sort of Truman Show type existence.
Yeah.
And I wonder whether there is a storyline, baked into it, where a reconciliation with her father is a conceivable, televisual stunt.
Oh, that's very cynical. That's absolutely
I'm afraid she's
not.
the most cynical.
No, I don't think she is.
No, she is not. Cynical exploiter of her celebrity.
She is not.
Country.
She is not. The thing is, she has become a lifestyle guru, if you like, which is the most risible of occupations. If you look at Gwyneth Paltrow, she gets the same. She gets the same sort of. Brickbats, and because people think, well, who are you to tell me how to, make jam or wrap fudge, or whatever. But fair enough. And but there are other people who want to see that, who want to.
But they don't.
But they do. But
the
they do.
ratings are awful. Spotify had to cancel their podcast halfway through because nobody was listening to it. Well, she's a car crash every single time. I don't think she is a car crash. I think she's a genuine, much maligned woman.
She's certainly much maligned.
So in what sense is she genuine? A genuine what? A genuine.
She's genuinely much maligned.
Genuinely enjoys decorating
Yes, she does.
Filo pastry.
Yes, she does. I mean, there are, you know, you made it understand that I think mostly women enjoy that sort of stuff. And there was Martha Stewart, for heaven's sake. It's very much an American thing. We don't have it here.
Just slightly drag it back to the matter at hand, which is her desperately ill father. So we played a clip earlier on, but I mean. In the latest offering from Meghan Markle on Netflix, she talks a lot about family, right, and her importance of family and all of this stuff. Well, you know, obviously we hope that he does make a full recovery, but if as the Daily Mail's world exclusive from his son is suggesting, which is that he is in pretty dire straits, you know, now would be the time for reconciliation, wouldn't it?
What do I have to say? I hope he gets better. I hope they kiss and make up. Other than that, Patrick, I'm totally out of ammo on this one. I mean, you know, obviously wish him well. Hope they kiss and make up, but you know,
it is quite odd, though, isn't it? How she's estranged from him, and that may be deserved. That may be his doing. That may be something that she's blameless in. But the single thing they're most famous for is the fact that she's also essentially arranged for a life with Harry, estranged from his family. The most famous, most.
She hasn't arranged for that. She hasn't arranged for that.
Kind of.
They were pushed out of this country. They were pushed out because they were more popular than Kate and William, which is not the way it's supposed to go.
Certainly solved that problem.
well, it did. I mean, it's true. It's exactly what the right-wing press and the media joined together with the palace and drip-fed poison constantly on a daily basis, and they still do.
OK.
They still do.
Well, on that note, if we bring up the... we're going to bring up the Times, because I've just decided that on the spot, so sorry everyone in the gallery. Can we bring up the Times, please? Because there are these pictures of both the Prince and Princess of Wales looking magnificent, and by that I'm more talking about Kate. William's sure he's a nice guy, but he's not really my cup of tea. So you've got them there, but the story next to it is what I'm slightly more interested in.
Yeah.
Review will study rising diagnoses of ADHD. Mark, Wes Streeting is clamping down, so apparently, on mental health conditions as part of Labour's attempts to cut welfare spending.
Yeah, well, I mean, I hope he is clamping down. The story simply says that he is concerned about it, which I guess is... I guess you need to be concerned before you clamp down. Look, this is the standout statistic, so I wish Wes Streeting well in tackling this. 4.4 million people of working age are claiming disability or incapacity benefit, essentially saying, I am so ill or disabled that I cannot work. 4.4 million people of working age. It's completely implausible, isn't it? I mean, we're talking, doing the numbers in my head here, north of 10% of the workforce, who are just sort of ill for a while. You know, I'm down with the flu this week, incapable of working. Completely implausible. I mean, I don't know what the number is, a quarter of that, a tenth of that. Absolutely ridiculous.
It's outrageous. I mean, 8.9 million people supposedly are on antidepressants, and it says here the number of 16 to 34-year-olds off work with long-term sickness because they have a mental health condition has risen by 76%. We can't all be, you know, people have genuine mental health problems and disabilities because of the way they think. But it seems to me we have brought about, through various, God knows what, in society, we've made young people think that if they are they're not ecstatically happy the whole time, that there is something wrong with them.
And the stress is bad.
Stress is bad. And they find everything stressful. They can't talk on the phone. They can't meet strangers. How have we as a society and as parents done this?
Well, exactly. It comes off a story I did in the last hour, actually, or a couple of hours ago, which is that apparently Gen Z are saying that they want mental health days because they don't like going into an office and with strangers, and they don't like talking on the phone, and they don't like getting up early.
It's. I mean, I have to agree with Nina entirely, and I I might even be more cynical or more accusatory towards them, of saying it's not only that they're alarmed if they don't feel ecstatic all the time. They have understood quite correctly that it's a way of attracting attention. It's a way of making it about them, and I'm afraid that's a very tempting possibility when you're a teenager.
Do you think some of the trans stuff's like that?
Well, I think when you're transitioning from pre-puberty towards, as late as your middle 20s or whatever, before you really get sorted down, you're on choppy waters. It's always been understood, but I'm afraid we are becoming perhaps aware of why this sort of thing was stigmatised for a long time, but we'd overdone it. We swung in too far with the taboo subjects. But teenagers will want to become part of the pack if they see that everybody else has got some kind of condition. And it is extraordinarily easy to game the system and get yourself a diagnosis.
Yeah.
I say that without any doubt whatsoever. I've seen cases of it. I've known people who've done it.
I mean, I think, again, with this, I will say that, people who are actually genuinely off or have mental health problems or have things like actual ADHD or depression and all of that, I often wonder how they feel when they look at the numbers of people that are claiming it, because I've obviously got friends who have suffered with things. And they're well aware of being able to realise that whilst they have something genuine, there are obviously clearly millions of people who don't. And I think it devalues and belittles what a lot of people actually
Absolutely.
go through.
I couldn't agree with you more.
You've got some of these people who are just on the take.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that's right, that there are people who are either inventing or exaggerating their condition. But let's be clear here, right? The overwhelming bulk of people with mental health conditions can work. Right? I mean, you might have some who are so mentally ill they can't, but having ADHD or stress or anxiety, these are problems, but they do not forbid you from working.
No, there were loads of people who managed to make it.
And oftentimes, going and working is probably one of the best treatments for said condition.
I mean, to be fair, the 8-9 million people who are on antidepressants, I would expect the vast majority of those are taking them in order to be able to carry on working. Yeah. I think most people do. They just sort of smooth the day out a little bit.
Fair enough.
So that is fair enough. Yeah, and with the same with the ADHD, it is obviously the people who are actually sort of using it as an opportunity to drop the ball entirely.
The trouble is that they feel that they are have a mental health problem, and they don't know that they haven't. You see what I mean?
It's indulged.
Yes.
Well, all right. Well, look, there we go. There is a lot more to come, especially excited. Well, not excited. That's the wrong word, but. Yeah, we're going to talk about what's on the front of the Daily Mirror. Intrigued, thank you very much, yes. Intrigued to what's on the front of the Daily Mirror. We've also got about this.
Nobody's safe in the country if just anyone can walk in. And I would also add what every Brit and every American these days unfortunately intuitively knows, which is that when you change the people who live in the country's values change too, the country's politics change too, the country's institutions change too.
Well, that is one of President Donald Trump's top immigration officials with that stark warning to the British over immigration. And this as well, we're going to be talking about. There it is. I'm going to be taking you on a tour of Jeffrey Epstein's pedo island. So, well, that'll happen. There you go.
Good evening, I'm here with your GB News weather update coming to you from the Met Office. Some eastern parts may have a little bit of fog developing again tonight, but further west we're going to see increasing amounts of clouds, strengthening winds and some rain because there's a frontal system that's marching its way in. It's quickly going to spread across much of Northern Ireland, some heavy persistent rain developing here as we go overnight. Rain also feeding in across much of Wales, southwest England and filtering a little bit further eastwards as well, perhaps into western parts of Scotland at times too. Further east, staying drier, some clear skies here, could be a bit chilly, and with that, like I said at the start, there could be some fog patches developing. Further west, a milder start to the day tomorrow because of the cloud, because of the rain and those blustery winds. We're talking gales in some exposed spots towards the west. So we start tomorrow on a bit of a damp note across many central, southern, western parts of England and Wales. That rain gradually making its way eastwards. Some glimmers of sunshine breaking through, however, from the west. Also pretty wet still across much of Northern Ireland, particularly towards the north. Some high rainfall totals likely to build up. Whilst northeastern parts of Scotland starting the day quite bright with just a few coastal showers around. Elsewhere it's going to be cloudy and increasingly wet as that rain continues to make its way north and eastwards across many places. It's going to make quite slow progress. So it will take a fair while to clear away from some eastern, northeastern parts until well after dark tomorrow. But further west, something drier, brighter following in behind. Yes, some showers around, but a bit more sunshine on offer. Worth noting, though, temperatures down a couple of degrees compared to today. Then after a cold, perhaps frosty, maybe foggy start for some of us on Friday morning, there'll be a bit of showery rain coming in before more unsettled weather arrives from the west as we go through the afternoon. So further heavy rain and some strengthening winds as well. And that takes us into what's set to be quite an unsettled weekend. Not a total washout. There will be some dry weather around, but also some pretty unsettled weather too. Bye-bye.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Late Edition. Now, there are lots of stuff on the front pages here. The Daily Mirror, for example, is leading with footage of Epstein's Island. We're going to get to that. First, though, Bev Turner's with us. She's going to be doing The Late Show Live, which, of course, starts from midnight until 2 a.m. And, Bev, you've got a bit of a bombshell interview coming our way, I believe.
That's right, Patrick. Busy old time here before the show. We're busy getting things together. We have got the interview that you've just showed the clip of. Now, this is Sarah Rogers. She's spoken to Christopher Hope in London today. She's the Under Secretary of State for Public Diplomacy. She's a lawyer and a free speech activist, and she has given a very punchy interview to Christopher Hope as a representative of the American government here. She is unequivocal about the importance of free speech, about the risks of mass immigration for people from third world countries. You don't want to miss it. We're going to show you over a few sections. And actually here, of course, in the US, we've got an immigration pause at the moment on 19 non-European countries by President Trump. So very interesting to hear what Sarah has to say. And we're also going to be showing you the Epstein Island and talking about the Epstein Island pictures with Americans. Obviously, they have a slightly different perspective on that story here. And we're going to tell you all about a drunk raccoon, which I don't know whether you've covered this story. We're looking at the pictures of Epstein Island now. This isn't the home of the drunk raccoon. We will be getting onto that as well. But yeah, this is what people have been waiting for here in America. I mean, look at this. This is a room in Epstein Island that appears to be a dentist chair. It just boggles the imagination, Patrick, to think what was going on. And my American panel tonight have got some interesting observations on all of this this evening, because we're getting the first look. Because, of course, when we talk about the Epstein files, it sounds like we're talking about pieces of paper or letters or even emails. It's not that. Epstein files is a lot of photographs and a lot of video, perhaps very incriminating video. So we're going to be talking about that.
Yeah, indeed. Look, Bev, thank you very, very much. Bev Turner will be with us from midnight until 2 a.m. As ever, great show lined up. Let's just carry on here with the Epstein. It's on the front of the Daily Mirror, to start us off with. Inside Epstein's Island lair, disturbing images from Jeffrey Epstein's mansion have been released. The home is where ex-royal Andrew Mountbatten Windsor visited his paedophile pal. So that is one of the homes, but the other thing where the footage is from is the island as well. This infamous island of, what was it, Little St James, I think it's called. Pictures show bedrooms, a room with a dentist chair, masks hanging from the walls, the words "power and deception" written on a chalkboard. It's all very, very odd, isn't it?
I find this really strange, especially the image on the front page of the Daily Mirror. I mean, I just sort of assumed, insofar as I had an image in my mind, that it was all just going to be bling. You know, a bit like a kind of Trump Tower type thing. This is really strange. There are all these odd masks dotted around on the walls and a dentist's chair, and it's really creepy. I mean, it looks like a kind of serial killer's lair rather than a kind of bling Playboy.
Can we isolate that picture of the dentist's chair, please? Because apparently in the Mirror's article, they've spoken to several psychological experts, easy for me to say, who say that they think that some of these rooms, like that one, were designed to intentionally cause panic. So supposedly it's designed in a way that would deliberately have caused panic for people there, like you are thriving off people's fear.
It's certainly unnerving to look at, so I guess it would be even more unnerving to actually be in that room, right?
The whole thing is about power, isn't it? Power
and deception.
Exactly. Well, exactly. But I mean,
I've got one that says "You are my sunshine."
That's exactly what it says on the tin.
Different vibe.
Yeah, I saw a documentary on Ghislaine Maxwell late the other night, and they actually featured a middle-aged South African couple who were the sort of housekeepers, if you like, and it was quite chilling because. Oh no, we didn't see anything at all, really, did we? And you know, it's the first time they've spoken, and in fact, they've said very little. But it was just horrible.
Willing helpers.
Yeah. Another thing on this is that apparently most of the rooms, even the bedrooms, appear to have no natural light or windows, so it gives off the impression of that everything's in a kind of cellar. Or a
prison cell type.
There's a hotel like that in Manchester that jonglers used to put you up in.
Right.
It was notorious. Had curtains and you pull them and it was just a painting of the skyline.
Really? But considering we are here on a luxury Caribbean island...
Yeah, you'd expect more, wouldn't you?
You'd want more for you. You'd want more of a view.
Well, but the whole point is you're in the Caribbean. There's sunlight. You want light. You know. You pictures of lovely resorts have got huge sliding doors and gauzy curtains just wafting in the tropical breeze. And
on the other hand, it's handy to know that you don't have to leave the island if you need the dentist.
Maybe Jeffrey Epstein just had terrible teeth.
Yeah,
you could be that. And Americans are obsessed.
Something about the way those masks are on.
It's the masks.
They are very peculiar. It almost looks like a David Shrigley cartoon or something. I wonder whether this dentist chair was where he made masks of people. You lie back and he coats your face with latex or something. I don't know if that's a thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if this is the mascatorium.
The mask room.
Yeah.
But that in itself is weird.
Yeah, yes.
Can you just come into the mask room?
Yeah, that would be like way 4th or 5th down the list of rooms I'd install.
What are those two round things next to the chairs?
I can work that out.
Those are jacuzzi lids.
They are jacuzzi lids, are they?
Wow, fancy you know.
You know that. Like. You said it with such authority, you know.
Doesn't he?
A phone with names on speed dial. Oh, one of them's my name. Patrick, Sell. There you go. Sorry, guys, game's up, I'm afraid. Larry as well. Larry, poor Larry. But yeah, no, so it's just very, very, very odd. I mean,
he also had, didn't he? And this came. I remember this when he was first killed him, whatever, in July 2019. There was a story that he was trying to set up a sort of sperm donation clinic type thing there, where he had a bevy of beauties, and it was promised that all the top-ranking physicists and scientists and so on that were visiting there, were told that they would be. He wanted to create genius babies.
And you could get your teeth done at the same time.
Exactly. I don't know if this is part of the same complex, but that one seems to have been dropped since. I don't know whether they were just trying to turn him into, Joseph Mengele or whatever, just for.
You see that, as you say, that the furniture doesn't look like it's. No. You don't think, wow, sort of upmarket, sort of IKEA, basically, but.
I don't know what an upmarket dentist chair looks like, though.
to be fair, it's even the bedrooms. I don't know. You're right. There's no opulence about it. I find it. I was just very clinical. And
as you said, white clean. Did you say that?
Yeah, I did say that. No, it is.
Hose down.
Hose down.
But the thing is, are these the rooms where Jeffrey Epstein lived, or are these the rooms where the girls were kept?
Quite.
You don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Jeffrey Epstein may have been, living in great blingy luxury luxury in
Well, he
the
certainly
cottage
did in
down the...
Manhattan, didn't he? He had the biggest private house in Manhattan.
The
right?
biggest private house in New York.
In New York,
the notoriety of New York.
So, you know, I suppose once you get to the island, it's a bit like camping as far as he's concerned.
Well, possibly, yes, possibly. All right, well, yeah, there we go. I mean, those are the latest images. I'm assuming that over the course of the coming days, we're going to get more and more of this stuff. So there we go. But lots more coming your way. But of this...
There was, one has to admit, some element of truth in the famous description of football as a game where 11 people play 11 people, and then, in the end, the Germans win.
The King shares a football joke with the German president of Windsor Castle.
And he's wrong.
Yeah,
He says that football's a game that we always play against and Germany always wins. That's like 25 years out of date.
Yeah,
we
massively.
stuffed them the last time we played them.
Yeah, I know. Also, I don't really like the idea that he's talking us down to the German... Anyway, whatever. Plus, is Labour planning on crushing Britain's high street? Well, there we go. But don't worry, because we will all be eviscerated by World War III before we get to that. So watch out, Woolworths.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
The weather's looking quite mixed across the Mediterranean through tomorrow and much of this week. There's further heavy rain towards the east affecting Greece, Albania and other nearby nations. Could see some severe thunder, landslides, other impacts as a result because it has been so wet recently. Other areas will also see some rain at times. There will also be some drier, sunnier bursts, but it's often going to be relatively unsettled and there is a bit more rain for many to come into the weekend.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show. It's not a bad brand. Yeah. Uncensored. Very, very racy tonight on the unpredictable. What does she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
OK, welcome back. What's made the front of a couple of newspapers? In fact, The Guardian, we'll bring that up because we've not shown that yet. But it's a royal welcome. First state visit for a German leader in 27 years. So you've got a picture of King Charles there. And so they met. We heard a little extract from it as well. He was very nice, doing the soft power stuff. On a few of the other national newspapers, you've got pictures of Kate and William. So they are going off that. The other thing to point out is, as Nina might have alluded to earlier, which if we look at the front of the eye, Russian spies secretly entering UK on cargo ships. And Nina, you wonder if there's a bit of soft power going on here, don't you, between the monarch, the Germans, and what we are seeing about what appear to be increasing incursions. Just before I go to you, the detail of this, men with links to Russian intelligence have used a backdoor to land in Britain via the docks at Torquay, Middlesbrough and Grangemouth before visiting areas with military bases and critical infrastructure. I fear that we might be back at the Salisbury Cathedral, the church spire again soon.
It is all really hotting up, which is quite worrying. And as I said earlier, this is an expression of soft power which will send a message to Putin. But I have to say, younger people will not have thought this, but if you watched at all any of the coverage of this German visit, they started playing Deutschland, Deutschland über alles, and I sort of flinched because my parents met because of the war, but went through the war, and we're all friends now and have been for decades. But that will make a lot of older people just go, oops, like they've just felt really strange. I mean, but you're too young to feel that.
It's not on my Spotify playlist, I would say, but I will Google it on the way out.
It's on mine. It was originally part of a Handel string quartet.
OK, good. I won't ask what else is on there, just in case.
What I also find interesting is that the wife, as she's been called, the wife, has a separate surname to... She's Bundenberger or something. When he's Steinmaster or Stein...
But, I mean, the German president is more of a ceremonial position than a political one, right? So, I mean, this is soft power.
Why is he meeting the king,
power.
for goodness sake?
Yeah. But just on the cargo ships thing, I mean, compare and contrast that with the second story in the Times. So if you're worried about the Russians getting in on our cargo ships, MI5 looks like it's going to face censure for its complete failure over the Novichok case. So we've got the Russians coming in, we've got to be wary of it, and apparently there's some evidence that our security services, frankly, aren't up to snuff.
Well, yeah, it's
good. Snuff and Novichok in the same sentence.
Yeah.
Try that.
No, I mean, it was massively concerning, and there is another story as well knocking about how I think we kind of knew this anyway, but apparently British pupils are being told that Taiwan is part of China. British pupils are being taught that Taiwan is part of China and a part of a government-funded scheme. I mean, are we rolling the wiki there for something?
But this is
a government-funded scheme.
Yeah.
But there's some Chinese connection. It's some.
Of course there is. Well, it's for the Chinese. It's 8,000 pupils in 75 state schools enrolled on the programme, which is about China. But some of the programme asks students, where is Taiwan? Do you know Taiwan is part of China? I mean, this is Chinese propaganda on the face of it.
All right, well, look, let's knock this on the head, because I'm going to run you through the papers very quickly. These are all of your papers. The Telegraph, police plan for facial ID in every town and village. The I paper, Russian spies secretly entering UK on cargo ships. The Independent, Number 10 derides Putin's war threat. The Guardian, bullying culture has harmed patient safety at a scandal-hit NHS hospital. The Sun, sup for the cup. It's beers at the World Cup. The Mail, Meghan's father fighting for his life. The Express, Starmer's mission to crush our high streets. The Times, review will study rising diagnosis of ADHD. And The Mirror, inside Epstein's pedo island. On that bombshell, thank you to my panel. Let's go to Bev Turner, who's Washington, D.C. for The Late Show Live.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Thank you for joining me this evening. We're going to be looking at those Epstein Island photos as well. And also, we've got an exclusive interview with one of Trump's key advisors on migration and free speech. He's done a sit-down interview with Christopher Hope. You do not want to miss it. And also, a raccoon that broke into a building, drank all the booze and fell asleep by the loo. We've all been there.
It's the greatest cash prize of the Great British Giveaway so far. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like, making 2026 your greatest year to date. That could get you that brand new car, extend and improve your home, take you away on that bucket list holiday, or just give you some peace of mind over the coming months. For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS